Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mysterious Pals. My name's Chris. Welcome to a spooky edition of the Mysterious Pals. On this, another week in October, the week before Halloween. We celebrate Halloween here in the States.
Yep.
And before we get into our spooky story this week, I want to introduce the co-captain of the Mysterious Pals Express. Jordan, welcome aboard.
Ahoy.
Ahoy, matey. How you doing?
Good.
Good. This week, you got something spooky to talk about.
Yes, we do.
And you're going to be taking over command while I get thrown overboard or something.
Swapping the poop deck.
Yep. That's pretty much all I do.
Is it swapping or swabbing?
Swabbing. You can swap it if you want. I don't know. Anyway, Jordan, I want you to take me to a scary, scary place.
We're going.
Let's go.
All right. Well, first off, I got a question for you, Chris.
Can't wait.
You sound super sarcastic. So you know, like the classic movie monsters. When I say classic movie monsters, you know what I'm talking about?
Like Frankenstein?
Yeah, like Frankenstein. Do you have a favorite? Because there's like, Frankenstein.
Godzilla?
Sure. Okay.
He's a monster.
Yeah, but I mean like
It's the Halloween-y type.
Yeah, like Frankenstein, Dracula, Mummy.
Oh, Mummy, for sure.
Wolfman, Invisible Man, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
So all the movies they're supposed to make whenever Tom Cruise messed up that whole series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're called the Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
You have a favorite?
I'd probably say Mummy, but not Tom Cruise Mummy. But maybe...
Brendan Fraser Mummy?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's Werewolf Man.
Mm-hmm.
Or Swamp Thing. Is he one of them?
There's the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, but man, nah, probably Wolfman, I guess.
Yeah.
Mummy or Wolfman? Those two.
Mummy, like the old, because all these movies came out like I think like 30s or 40s. They're takes on like fictional mythological creatures,
Folklore type stuff.
Yeah, but the Mummy from those ones all seem kind of lame. It's just like walks really slow,
like lumbering and
it's like how's this thing
dusty?
Yeah, this thing's not gonna catch me.
Stinky. Yeah. If I had to deal with a mummy, I'd be like just coughing because it'd be so dry.
Yeah, just push it over.
Yeah.
It's wrapped too tight.
I get like a hose for it and spray it down.
It's wet.
Okay, here's some water, dog. I don't know. It seems
some soap.
Dry.
Clean yourself up.
Dusty, stinky. Probably dusty.
Yeah.
I don't like sand, so maybe it's the Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
Sand sucks. But anyway, where were you going with this?
So Wolfman or Werewolf is my favorite one. The subject of our Halloween themed episode this week deals with the werewolf.
Just the werewolf?
Yes.
Or any werewolf?
A werewolf. Yeah. So the werewolf is kind of my favorite of those.
So like a wolf in the wild isn't a werewolf. It's just a wolf.
It's a wolf.
So where does the were come from? Because it's like, is it like where? It's not WHERE.
Mm-hmm. It's not like where is it located, wolf?
Yeah. But where is like, where is it where or where?
Where?
The where are you? No, that's a WH.
It's WERE.
Yeah, what is that one? That's not we are, were, like WE apostrophe RE.
Yeah.
What's WERE?
So werewolf is an old English word where werewolf translates to man-wolf.
What? So where's like, so
man.
So old English, I'd be, look at that where over there.
Where?
Is that what they say?
I don't know about that.
You like talk up to the lady like, where's your where out tonight? In an old English.
I don't see a ring on that finger. Do you have a where?
Yeah. Where's your where? Where is your where? Is that what they, seriously, that's what it comes from?
Yeah.
So they used to say.
I don't know if they, I don't know about that.
But I
never heard.
So where is man? Yep. So man-wolf.
Man-wolf, yep.
Okay.
This episode in particular, we'll be dealing with the Werewolf of Bedburg.
Bedburg,
yeah. Germany.
You know, Bedburg after this episode, I'm saying. Tired.
So what is a werewolf exactly? I think most people know this, but just in case they don't. Typically when a human transforms into a wolf caused by curses.
Like a lichen?
Yeah.
Is that part of this?
Yep. We'll go into that a little bit. They get transformed into a wolf caused by a curse or simply by wearing wolf skin. This is thought to be the case in Nordic and Scandinavian mythology. Warriors would sometimes wear a bear or wolf pelt,
What?
and they would go berserk
That's pretty cool.
and have the strength of and ferocity of that animal.
I heard the way you go berserk, okay, is you.
This would be good.
Yeah. So I read this on. I remember early internet. Some of my friends, Jeff, who's been on the show before, he found on an old website the way you go berserk is you take an axe and a sword and you go to a tree and you start chopping it slowly,
Okay.
like left, right, and you slowly go faster until you black out. And when you wake up, you're berserk, apparently.
You saw this on the internet.
Yeah, early internet. That probably was like 2002, 2001 internet.
Did he ever try it? I could see him trying it.
Yeah, I don't know what to ask him. Next time we see him, we'll ask him.
Another way someone can become a werewolf, and this pertains to today's episode, is through pacts with dark forces.
Make an evil pact.
Mm-hmm. However, modern day stories say the full moon is what triggers the transformation, but older stories, they can be done at will. You got to do it at will. So, modern movies like, oh, it's a full moon, I'm turning, and they can't really control it. But apparently, like, when these folklores started, at least in Europe, because this is kind of a multicultural thing, werewolves, they're able to do it at will.
But I think also, since they're just putting on the skin, it makes sense. Like, they're putting on the skin and going berserk. That was the story, right?
Sure, yeah.
So maybe that makes sense.
Like Scandinavia, that was kind of a thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We should get some. Well, I don't want to kill it. Maybe get a fake one made. I don't want to murder. Maybe is that just cosplaying or what's that called?
LARPing?
No. Whenever you dress up, furrying, whatever the anthropomorphic fest thing.
Yeah, do you think they become berserk?
I mean, I hope so.
They make it a lot cooler.
Well, do whatever you want, but if you go berserk, you got another, hurrah is what I say.
Typically, when someone transforms into a werewolf, they lose a bit of self-control. They become more bestial in nature. It shows the duality of man. When they're in werewolf form, they have heightened senses and have enhanced strength and speed. Throughout history, there have been instances of people transforming into werewolves across all different kinds of cultures. The first mention of a werewolf in history goes back to ancient Greek mythology. There's a story of a king of Arcadia named Lycan, who tricked Zeus into eating human flesh during a sacrifice to him. As punishment, Zeus transformed him into a wolf. This is where lycanthropy? Lycanthropy? Where lichen comes from.
Lycanthropy? Lycanthropy?
Yeah, that's Greek for wolfman.
I don't know. I don't even know if that's right. It don't matter. Sorry, Greek.
So, like I said, our subject deals with the Wolf of Bedburg, Germany. It takes us back to 1500s in Germany.
Bedburg, Germany. When they say that, I just envision like
bugs.
No, now I do. Just a field of beds, like old school, like like the beds from like Willy Wonka, where they're all the family sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah,
the old people in that one bed
with like a duck feathers or something like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you're going with that one. Duck. Okay.
There's three things going on, not only in Germany right now, but in Europe as a whole.
Uno, dos, tres.
Yeah, the first one, and we've talked about this before, so I won't go much detail about it, was the Black Death. Even though it started back in 1347, waves of it kept going through Europe until like the 1600s. The people during this time in the 1500s are still suffering from death and famine. They're dealing with that whole thing. The second, the little thing called the Protestant Reformation. This is going through Europe. This event caused great religious and political upheaval in Europe, and in Germany was no exception. This was the birthplace of the Protestant Reformation.
Reformation?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
This is it's a reform. So when Martin Luther was like, hey, the Catholic Church is corrupt.
Martin Luther King?
No.
Oh.
Martin Luther was a German priest in the Catholic Church.
Okay.
He had some grievances with the Catholic Church. He thought they were becoming corrupt by selling indulgences. Like the church was like, hey, if you want to atone for your sins or reduce your time in purgatory, just give us money.
Oh.
So he's like, this is not right.
Yeah, I mean, pay him off.
Yeah.
And probably a good way to get money.
Sure. So he wanted to reform the church, and then this big break happened between the Catholic Church and like this new form of Christianity. And this kind of caused upheaval, not only in religion, but politically.
So when we say Protestants now, like in modern day, it's they're just still the same direction as Christianity in some cases?
For the most part, yeah. There's just certain small, well, I don't want to say small because people might take offense to that, but there's like certain things that they believe the same thing.
But their practices are different.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And how they handle stuff.
Right.
Okay.
So some like most Protestants, actually, I think all Protestants, they don't adhere to the Vatican.
Okay.
And there's other small things like that. So this kind of kicked off a huge thing in Europe, especially in Germany. Right now, there's people vying for power on both sides. So this is kind of a thing that was going on. A very big thing was going on at the time.
What year was this?
This is, we're in the 1500s. This whole thing with the Protestant Reformation started in 1517.
Because when was Germany considered the Holy Roman Empire?
I think it's still right around now, I think.
But this causes that to split? This causes the end of the Holy Roman Empire?
No, hold on.
Holding.
Yeah, Holy Roman Empire collapsed in 1806. So yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think in Germany, I'm pretty sure was still part of this whole thing.
So did these people move out of Germany?
Some of them had to. I mean, war started because of this. There's a whole 30 years war that eventually happened. Very crazy.
30 years war between the Protestants and the Catholics?
Yeah, and then basically all of Europe was involved in it.
But how do you...
Certain kings were like, hey, we're just going to stay Catholic. Some were like, no, we're going to become Protestant.
Oh, okay. So it was more of a kingdoms were going at it. It wasn't like...
a political thing.
Okay, so it wasn't like entire countries, or was it?
Yeah, some countries are... Like, I think around this time, Germany itself there's like wars and battles going on within Germany.
But it's this Holy Roman Empire.
Everywhere. But we're in Germany right now.
Is Germany inside the Holy Roman Empire?
I believe so at this point it was.
So the Holy Roman Empire is just an empire that had Germany included, and Germany's still its own area.
Yeah.
There's still a guy in there who's like, I'm Germany.
Yeah, it's part of the Holy Roman Empire, but it was still like...
So is it just like the states?
Yeah,
there's different states within the Holy Roman Empire?
I think it was like autocratic, would it be the right word for it? Like they were under like the Holy Roman Empire, but they're like allowed to kind of self-govern themselves.
So it's like the Pope was like kind of in charge of the Holy Empire, but like...
On the religious side of it, but they also had an emperor too.
Oh. Well.
Yeah.
La-di-da. Did they now?
So then the third thing has to do with superstition. During this time, because this ends up coming to America, but in Europe during this time, it was a very big thing, superstition, especially in regards to witches and werewolves. Okay?
Witches and werewolves?
Yeah, and werewolves. Witchcraft and werewolfery might be the word for that. I don't know. Somebody made that up.
Werewolfery?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Sounded
right? I don't know if that's how you conjugate a verb.
Werewolfism? Werewolf.
Where's my wolfism? I don't know.
So you remember this in the States, this is later on, the whole Salem witch trial thing?
Yeah.
Like people were like very nervous about that. This was like, it already started in Europe because, obviously the United States weren't a thing yet. And it carried over the United States. But witches and werewolves were on like people's minds. Like they thought they were real things. And we'll get into why people thought this a little bit.
When was the vampires coming in?
They're already in there.
Vlad was already in there.
Yeah, he would have been 1300s.
But so this is like, but he wasn't, was the story of vampires, it came from Bram Stoker, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
But like, so the idea of a vampire was more of just vampirism that
Right.
really came from Bram
I
Stoker?
think that's how it started.
Okay.
Bram Stoker. The people were religious and fearful of anything associated with the devil. Evil is thought to manifest and revel at night. And because of this, people became very superstitious. Witches and werewolves became common fear and were often associated with the devil. A lot of times it became used as a means to convict people of unusual behavior, perhaps because they had no understanding of mental illnesses. A lot of times, like back then, including with the Salem witch trials that happened here in the United States, like, oh, this person's acting really weird. They must be, they're going out at night into the woods. Like, what could they possibly be doing back there?
Getting hood rat stuff.
Yeah. If you're acting weird or like out of ordinary, maybe they didn't really identify them maybe having a mental illness. So they're like, oh, they must be a witch or a werewolf kind of thing.
Okay.
And we'll kill them.
Oh, I got you. So they're just kind of anybody that acts differently than everybody else.
Sure.
Just like they must be evil.
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of like being like, hey, this
person, there's something wrong with
this person has some
brain.
kind of mental disability, or mental illness.
Yeah, those weren't known back then.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So just kill him.
All right. So starting in 1564, townsfolk of Bedburg began to notice something somewhat unusual. Local farmers started noticing their cows missing, only to be found in surrounding fields. Cows appear to have been slaughtered by some sort of animal toying with its food. It's like limbs are removed, guts are kind of hanging out. People began to think that maybe the cattle were victims of a pack of wolves.
Makes sense.
And this went on for years. How long, I'm not exactly sure, because a lot of this comes from the only really sources comes from a 16-page pamphlet written by a gentleman. Can't remember his name right now. I'll mention it later, but written by a guy who then told the story of this werewolf.
So he was trying to sell something.
No. Because he didn't sell it. He's just like, this is what I saw happen here.
He made a pamphlet?
This is what happened here, like 16 pages.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about like...
It's not like a book or anything like that.
Or like an actual like threefold like...
No.
Oh, look at this. I want to... like, oh, I'm going to...
Yeah, trifold posters. Remember he's doing like school?
Yeah, or like, here's what we offer in this place, you know, like...
Yeah, I don't think it's...
Here's my timeshare. Yeah. Oh, great.
I think it was just more or less like, hey, this is the crazy event that happened. And it was then translated in English, and it kind of became like a sensational thing where people were like, whoa.
A short story.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. But he claimed to have witnesses.
They always do. They always claim to have witnesses.
This is 1564, right? This is when it starts.
Yeah, Germany is 1500s. Germany's kicking off because this whenever Pied Piper comes around too, I think in the 1500s, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
And things were going bad in Germany.
And the dancing plague during this time too?
Oh, I don't know. Whenever we talked about it. That wasn't too long ago too. I don't remember anything.
But they think it's wolves doing this, but they're a bit alarmed by it, but there wasn't a panic going on just yet. Wolves are common.
Shoot the wolf.
Yeah, they would target livestock as it's easy prey.
You figure you put something that can't defend itself in a
cage. Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Which is a fence. However, panic would eventually break out within Bedburg. Suddenly, people began missing. Some were never found, and some only be found having the same fate as the livestock. Men, women, and children were all victims. In fact, there were instances of pregnant women being slaughtered and their fetuses being torn out and eaten as well.
Their faces?
Fetuses.
Oh, I was going to say, oh boy. That's just worse, but like...
oh, that's fine.
Wow. Their faces were torn out.
Fetuses
were torn out. Crap. So their fetuses were torn out.
Yeah. Limbs and hearts were torn from the victims' bodies.
So they were just ravaged.
Yep.
So it wasn't like they specifically cut in and got...
No, it wasn't like someone was using a knife. Like clearly something was animalistic.
Just tore them apart.
Tearing apart, yeah.
Okay. It sucks.
Yeah, sure. So naturally the people of Bedburg were in a state of hysteria.
Oh, okay.
They no longer thought these heinous acts could be done by a normal wolf, but rather something evil or demonic. Again, the religious people were very superstitious. It was kind of a common thing back then for people like believe in the dark arts or having something like affiliated with that, being affiliated with the devil.
We talked about this before. Like people have to blame something, and at this time, the easy thing to do is blame God or blame the devil
because they didn't know necessarily know any better, right? Like they didn't have an understanding of when the brain or how someone's brain works or mental illnesses,
but also like
so the unknown, they have to like put something to it, like you said, to explain it.
But also like people getting torn up.
Yeah, that's
obviously the worst thing they could do. But I guess it'd have to be an animal, right? Because it's not like someone, like humans doing this.
That's exactly what it. And that's so people are like, well, wolves. It's common for wolves to like attack livestock because again easy prey, but to go after people, that's a very very rare thing. And like tear open, a pregnant woman's.
Well, just tear them apart. Yeah. And a baby's
removing the
having
baby
to be in
from
there.
Like, geez, man, that can't be as a wolf doing that. The people began to suspect it's a werewolf.
Did they have an idea what a werewolf was at this time, or is this when they kind of invented it?
No, they did. I get some sources I was looking at. They're like, this is the first instance of a werewolf in Europe, and I was like, no, it's other ones are like they're going back to like 1300 maybe. This one's different.
Was it called a werewolf in Germany?
Yeah.
So Old English was spoken in Germany?
Well, I think it'd have a different name for it.
Okay. So it was a man wolf.
Yeah.
Translated, loosely translated.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. The town began dispatching hunters, but they never caught their culprit. At least not until 1589, 25 years after the killing started.
My God.
That's a long time. This town's going through 25 years of this, like, your kid, you don't see your kid for a couple hours, they're like, oh, he's probably dead.
Yeah, but 1500, you probably think that anyway. I mean, it sucked.
Why is he working in the fields? Oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
the werewolf got him.
What else would they be doing? It's not like they're sneaking down to the 5 and dime buying a malt.
5 and dime. Going to their grocery store attached to a house.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to do other stuff. They either dead or they, I don't know, turn into a werewolf themselves.
Playing with their, was it the hoop and stick?
Yeah, they just ran off with their hoop and stick. Did they have? I think that was more like 1800s.
Yeah, it was.
That toy didn't get invented yet.
So 25 years is going on for these people.
That would suck.
Yeah. The story goes, this is in the pamphlet that this gentleman wrote.
Yeah, how many deaths are we talking? Do we know?
We'll give you the number here in a minute.
Was keep on the edge of my seat.
The story goes that some young girls were playing in a meadow when suddenly a werewolf appeared. The werewolf leapt to grab one of the girls with his teeth by her throat. Luckily, the girl's coat collar was in the way and too stiff to be pierced by the wolf's teeth.
Oh, come on.
It was unable to drag her away.
What kind of, was she wearing a metal collar?
I mean, these are they're wearing thick clothes back then. Sturdy.
So the thing that could tear a fetus out of a stomach and tear hearts out, couldn't bite through a collar.
But, I think these coats they're wearing are probably more durable, thicker than skin. Maybe. I don't know.
What?
Yeah.
No. I guess it's wool. Is it a woolen coat?
Probably.
He probably was like, wool, it's hair in my teeth.
Probably it's a potato sack they're wearing.
Well, it's definitely not,
no. But yeah,
it's
I don't know.
Wood. It's all like, are they just wearing armor?
Just wearing a barrel.
Yeah. I don't believe
again,
this.
this. Well, yeah,
this guy's lying.
Again, this is really the only thing written about this.
He's probably just hyping it up. This is one of those things where a YouTube video where they it's all suspenseful and it's crap. Any show.
The thumbnail image is just it's a coat collar. It has the red circle around it.
Yeah, it's like those every baking show ever where there's real dramatic, right at the commercial break, then it comes back and he's before they're oh my God, did that just happen? Then he comes back, he's oh my God, did that just happen?
Yeah.
What?
You gotta leave him hanging.
I hate it.
The coat collar was too stiff and thick. The wolf couldn't get it. The other children cried for help, which caused the beast to flee, but also alerted nearby people. This was said by some to be the first actual sighting of the werewolf in this town. So they put a hunting party together to hunt this wolf down. Again, this is probably the first time this werewolf has ever been seen because at that time, the victim was dead.
Oh, can we somehow put this to the story of the huntsman? Was it Snow White and Huntsman or something? And that was German.
Yeah.
Is it the 1500s? Is this combined? Is it that story's taught from this story?
I don't know.
Because he went off to do something, didn't he? Or the Little Red Riding Hood, is what I'm trying to say. The big bad wolf.
Yeah.
Didn't he, the huntsman, the guy, the woodcutter, go off to try to find the wolf that was killing her or killed her grandma or whatever the hell happened in that story?
I don't remember that part of the story.
What?
Little Red Riding Hood?
Yeah, she went to her grandma. Her grandma was a wolf.
I know that, but
and then the hunter came and killed the wolf.
Thing. No.
How do you think what happened? What happened to the...
I don't know.
You never knew what happened at the end of the story? Your mom never told you? She's oh yeah, he's...
Didn't he just eat the granddaughter?
No, the hunter came and saved her.
What? I remember they did a live action Red Riding.
They did?
But yeah, Gary Oldman was in it.
Who?
This is apparently 1600, so maybe, man.
This story, it's probably, that seems crazy, but maybe I'm off my rocker here.
Yeah, so that's where the tale ends. He jumps off and eats the girl. There's other variants of it.
Okay. I read the wrong one. I have read to my kids a few times the the no, it's the three pigs. It's
Three little pigs.
Three little pigs on the side from the wolf's perspective.
Oh.
Yeah, he was just trying to borrow stuff off them.
So pigs were just dicks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like he was in jail when he's talking about it though. The stories from jail. Anyway, so Red Riding Hood's out.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like Barry T. Wolf, but he called him Big Bad Wolf or something like that. Yeah.
All right, so they get a hunting party. With the help of large hunting dogs, they're able to corner the beast. However, when they arrived at the werewolf's location, the location the dogs led them to, they did not come upon a werewolf, but rather a man instead. So I've seen some conflicting things here. The werewolf may have been seen once before, from a previous hunt in which its front left paw was cut off before it escaped, or it was already missing that paw.
Okay.
Either way, this is key evidence into the identity of who the werewolf actually was. The hunting party was surprised to see it was a man they knew, a man named Peter Stumpp.
No, shut up, Peter Stumpp.
And Stumpp spelled different ways. It's S-T-U-M-P-P, there's S-T-U-M-P, S-T-U-M-P-F, but...
The first recorded werewolf, his name was Peter Stumpp. Okay.
This isn't the first recorded werewolf, but some people said it was, but... This is more, I picked that story because it's different. I'm going to why. Very little is known about Peter Stumpp. Many birth records were destroyed during the 30 Years' War, which is sometime after this. That was between the Catholics and Protestants. Because birth records were kept in churches due to this war being a religious conflict, many churches were destroyed. It is believed that Peter was born sometime in the 1560s. In the village of Eprath, which is near Bedburg. What little is known of Peter is from a 16-page pamphlet written by George Boris in 1590. Stumpp was a widower who eventually had a mistress, meaning she was married. We're not sure how his wife died, but he had two children, a daughter named Beale, around 15 years old, and a son of an unknown age. They also don't know his name. He apparently was a very wealthy farmer, and was also considered very friendly and well-liked by his fellow townspeople. Lastly, it's said that his last name wasn't actually Stumpp, but Griswold.
What?
Why do you think his name was, he was given the last name Stumpp?
Cut off his hand.
He's given the name Stumpp because he was missing his left hand.
Yeah.
From an accident that happened years before.
Did a wolf bite it off?
And apparently it was just some accident. They didn't say what it was. So they're like, okay, so this guy is missing his paw, or his left hand. The wolf apparently was missing his left paw. So they thought if the wolf inflicted a wound, a werewolf inflicted a wound, that when it changed back to human, the human would still have that same wound. So if it lost a limb, the human would come back, same limb would be missing. That's what they thought apparently. Who? People.
Okay. And if it was the hunters and stuff still.
I mean, yeah, they would have thought the same thing.
People, yeah. Everybody, okay.
So because of this, because he was in the general area of where the dogs led the hunters, and because he was missing his left hand, he was arrested.
But was there proof that the wolf had missing a left hand? Left paw?
It was all kind of speculation.
Yeah.
So they arrest him. What do you think they did to him?
Burned him?
This is
hung him?
Pretty close, man. So he was tortured on the rack. Do you know what the rack is?
That's the thing where they stretch him out?
Yeah, it's like big wooden board. All your limbs get tied up, spread out, and there's like a turning device that eventually just pulls your limbs.
Yeah, dislocates everything.
Yeah. So they put him on the rack. In fear of being further tortured, he confessed to the murders of 14 children and 2 pregnant women, including the fetuses. He was able to describe the attacks in great detail, apparently.
Wait. They tortured him until he admitted to it, and then they stopped torturing him and killed him. Or they let him live.
He wasn't dead yet because he confessed.
Well, yeah, but
he confessed because,
stop torturing me.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll go into that whole thing too.
Can't wait. It's so exciting.
So he confesses, in quotes, that he killed 14 children and 2 pregnant women, including the fetuses, unfortunately. He's able to describe all this stuff in great detail, apparently. He also confessed to killing his own son. in which he devoured his brain. When asked why Peter did this, he said he'd been practicing black magic since the age of 12.
Okay. Black magic and werewolves.
Furthermore, he confessed to making a deal with the devil in which the devil gave Peter a gift.
His hand back. Oh.
This shocked the people of Bedburg because they believed that those who were werewolves were so because of a curse. The fact that he voluntarily wanted to become this beast and wanted to kill people in such a way was shocking. Because usually, like I said, people become these things because they were cursed. They were like tricked by a witch or by the devil. So they are like unwillingly became these things. But he wanted to be this beast.
I mean, it'd still be a curse. You accept it, like.
But he wanted it.
Yeah, but it's still a curse then, wouldn't it be? Like, does a curse have to be something you don't accept?
No. I mean, maybe.
They're like, I want this curse. Yeah, bring it on.
This is what the devil gave him. The devil gifted him a girdle or a belt.
A belt?
That allowed Peter to transform into a werewolf.
Oh, okay.
I quote, according to this pamphlet, it made him strong and mighty with eyes great and large, which in the night sparkled like fire, a mouth great and wide with most sharp and cruel teeth, a huge body and mighty paws. He said upon taking the belt off, he could transform back into human.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the murder and stuff.
Sure.
But like.
So it was a gift. Like the devil gifted him this for, he's like, hey, you've been practicing black magic for a long time. I'm going to give you this to you. Because this is what you want.
I got you a little something here, buddy.
Yeah, I got something for you.
That's
usually when you make a deal with the devil, also too, like it's kind of like it's not that clear cut. You know like all those.
They trick you.
Yeah, right. So this is what he wanted. So people were just like, he wanted to do this. Usually people, like I said, like it's a curse or they were tricked, but like he wanted to do this. So there's like this is very different. This is a very different werewolf case than most people were used to at the time.
Yeah, it's like one of the things where like. You wish that you're taller, and then like instead of making you taller, the devil just makes everybody else shorter. And you're like, come on.
Yeah. So this belt or girdle was never actually found, by the way. When they took him in, he told him the story. The magistrate was like, hey, go find this belt. He went to his house or wherever he's living. Like, yeah, we couldn't find a belt.
He's like, well, okay, well, stick his muscles back in and stuff and send him on his way.
All right, so this is a little gross kind of here. He also confessed to having an incestuous relationship with his daughter.
Well, you don't want that. Well, maybe this guy deserved it.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy deserved to be in that rack.
Right. One of the claims made against him was that he sexually assaulted his victims before killing them. He also confessed to having a sexual intercourse with a succubus that was sent to him by the devil.
Well, you don't want that. You don't want to do that. Next time, okay.
So after hearing all this, the court was like, yeah, we got to kill this guy.
Stumpp, come on, man. What are you doing?
Peter was executed on October 31st, 1589, on Halloween.
Ooh, oh my gosh. That's not a good.
Irony. He was first put to the wheel.
Wait, what's the wheel?
So they would take a wagon wheel.
And then roll it down a hill with him inside of it? Like,
oh, that'd be cool.
That would suck.
So what happens is they put you on a wheel. Sometimes, and they'll like, obviously you're strapped in. I don't know if they didn't do it in this instance, but sometimes they'd put you on this wheel and like spin you over like hot fire, but it wouldn't actually be touching you. And then other times, in this case, they would put you on the wheel be laying down or it's kind of suspended. You'd be tied up and they'd slowly just like smack all your limbs. In this case, they used the blunt end of axes and just kept smacking his limbs till they broke the limbs.
Okay. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. And then they beheaded him, burned his body, burned his head, suspended the wheel up in the air so anyone could see it, put the head back on top.
That's a little excessive, but trying to send a message.
And then his daughter and mistress were also executed.
Hey, mistress as in the succubus?
No, the mistress is the one he's having an affair with. They were flayed and hung.
Wait, flaying. Do I want to know?
They skin you.
Why? Who does that? Why would they do that to you?
Oh, wait, I forgot to mention. So when he's put on the wheel, before they started breaking his bones, they took red hot metal pincers and just tore flesh off his body. First off his limbs and like his torso. Like, why not just just hang him? You know, this is excessive.
I mean, he if he did all that stuff that was true, he deserved all that. I'm not saying I want to do it.
I would want to do it.
No, but like you have to wonder if the guy doing all that was the guy that actually committed all the murders.
Right. His daughter, executed his daughter because he was having this relationship with him. Apparently.
But that might not have been true.
Right. And that she might not have been willingly part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She was flayed.
Yeah. And his mistress was flayed too.
Wow.
I think they're just trying to rid any kind of lineage.
Oh, yeah.
Purge, the devil out of this guy.
I think, but those things that they're doing to the things that they're doing to the other, to the others that may have the devil in them, when the devil kind of likes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, wouldn't he be like, yeah, dude, that's cool.
Like it's kind of just
that's what I want, rather than showing compassion.
Yeah, they should
or they should put him out of misery quick.
No, they should like put him on a white robe and just lay him down and feed him, like give him a good life. If they really want to make the devil angry. I'm not saying you should do that.
Right. All right. So what do you think this guy? What do you think about this guy, Peter? Or okay, let me ask you this: do you think he actually was a werewolf who made a deal with the devil?
No, I don't think so at all. But maybe in his head, maybe he is mentally disturbed, mentally had some kind of he could have been hearing voices, kind of the auditory what's that called? People that are schizophrenic, have the auditory hallucinations.
Yep.
I mean, he could have been any one of these things.
Sure.
And what we saw with the dancing people, that they got into some rye that had fungus.
Yeah,
Maybe he got into something that had fungus, and he got
right. And and I think we mentioned it then when we talked about that. One of the theories of why the witches during at least in Salem were acting in this weird, unusual manners because they got that weird fungus from eating the bread. It kind of made them like do weird. It kind of made them hallucinate. Just act weird. And so people was like, "There's something wrong with these guys.
We have people that now. What was that thing going on a couple years ago? Spice or
COVID?
Oh yeah. No, like Spice. The drug,
like Dune.
Yeah.
Fentanyl.
No.
Oh. Crocodile?
No, that won't make people crazy. They just make their skin die. Bath salts. Bath salts.
Yeah.
Was that making people go nuts?
I don't know.
And there was like that one story of a guy eating another guy, like went insane.
I mean, that sounds right. I feel like any of those hard drugs will make you do that, something like that, maybe.
But like,
I don't know.
It seems like it's just one of those. Like maybe he found some kind of berries out in the woods that he was chomping on.
Yeah, the wrong kind of foliage.
There's always that question is like, how'd they know you couldn't eat certain things? Like, who was the guy that was like, try that? Ugh, we shouldn't eat that one.
Yeah, there has to be some poor bastard who's just like, I'll try it, and they're just dead.
Yeah, like someone had to try this crap. And I mean, you also look at like what animals eat and stuff, obviously, but like,
there's stuff animals eat that we can't eat, and vice versa. So someone still has to try it. So people did believe supernatural things, a lot of superstitions. So people did actually believe, like, he was an actual werewolf. He actually did do a deal with the devil. I mean, I don't believe that, but that's one theory. Okay. The other was he actually did commit these acts. He actually was a cannibal, did murder people in these horrible ways, did this stuff with his daughter and all these other horrible things. But he actually wasn't a werewolf. He's just a human being doing this because he had a mental illness. But again, like we talked about before, they didn't really understand mental illnesses back then, so they probably just
didn't care.
They probably just attributed him to being one of these dark forces like werewolf or something like that.
I imagine like there's a lot of stuff like that throughout history.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Most like, going back to the vampire thing, wasn't part of that as people that had porphyria?
I remember seeing that somewhere, yeah.
Porphyria is you can't be in the sunlight because you're like allergic to sunlight. And so your skin gets really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's...
And then it kind of gets exaggerated through...
Right, like these people that couldn't be in the sun, that's become vampirism and stuff.
So some modern interpretations suggest that Peter may have suffered from severe mental disorder, which is clinical lycanthropy. This is a real thing. This real psychological condition causes individuals to believe they can transform into wolves or other animals. Stump's detailed confession about his transformations and killings could have stemmed from delusional episodes, where he believed he actually was committing these atrocities as a werewolf.
Yeah, but then who was doing it?
He was. He thought he was
A werewolf, but he was still doing it as a
human being, yeah.
But he only had one hand. How was he tearing things apart like that?
It's not like he can't do anything. He
I'm
still has
saying,
a
like,
hand.
How are you pulling?
I don't know, man.
It all seems a bit suspect.
So another thing is that he might have been a psychopath or sociopath. Again, with mental illness.
Yeah.
His alleged crimes of mutilation, cannibalism, and incest indicates a personality disorder characterized by a lack of empathy, guilt, or remorse.
History is built on these people that have mental illnesses. Like, think about all the craziest people like you've seen throughout history.
Dictators, really, yeah.
Yeah, they're all probably have some kind of mental. I mean, everybody probably has something, but like
varying degrees of it too.
Like, look at any war ever.
Yeah,
with the people that start that kind of stuff.
And I think this one will make sense that he actually had was some kind of psychotic thing, because people would say, like, it would seem in the streets, he'd wave and be like, "Oh, hey, how you guys doing?" And he'd just go kill these people afterwards. Yeah. Stalk them and then kill them and do horrible things.
Well, again, like, but this is coming from this guy's pamphlet.
Yeah. Right.
This is the only.
I think there's like 2 other sources, but I think they were taken from this pamphlet, I believe.
Yeah. So this is just basically some guy wrote this up. This probably didn't even, this could not even, I'm not saying it probably, I'm saying it could have not even happened.
Right. I think, this whole thing could not happen, but I think it is believed that this guy did actually die.
So there was some type of serial killer or something in Bedburg.
This guy was
Bedborn. What is this?
Bedburg. This guy was the one who paid the price for it.
Whether he did it or not.
Right.
There was still some kind of killer.
Right. Yes. Whether he did it or not was highly up for debate.
But he may have thought he was a.
May have, yeah.
Or someone, the local journalist there was like, it's probably a werewolf.
Sure. I mean, that's how people believe these things were real, So you brought up like, hey, you're being tortured. Of course, you're going to say what you want these people say, right? This is a known fact that, like,
if someone's never been tortured, I'm not sure if that's how it works.
But I was, you'd assume at some point you're going to say what they want you to say.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's how it always goes, right? Yeah. With torture.
Sure.
Just to get to stop.
Yeah. You want it to stop. You want to just, let's kill me now at this point, or just let me go. I'll tell you whatever you want me to hear. So he could be, the torturers could have a narrative and they're pushing for it.
And they're like, oh, look, we solved it.
Yeah. And that way they're kind of like, hey, we solved this problem. We can all relax now. We have the culprit. Because again, people were hysterical. It was going on for 25 years. So like maybe they just wanted to end.
The only thing that makes this better is if they killed that guy and did all this stuff, and then like a week later, someone else got destroyed. Like, and they're like, oh man, push him in the river. Just push him in the river. Never saw it. That's
one other thing too. I at least with witches, because werewolves are tied to witches. Because sometimes it's believed that witches have turned people into werewolves. But some of like how they would test to see if you're a witch kind of thing. You ever read, like, looking at that stuff? It was wild, man.
No.
Like, one big one, I'm sure you heard this. If you throw them in a body of water.
Oh, okay. How you get this test?
Yeah. The test to see if they're witches. You throw them in a body of water. If they float, they're a witch. If they drown, they're human. But either way, they die. It's kind of messed up. Apparently, that's been debated whether that they actually did that or not.
Yeah, because like, also, humans float.
Yeah, they don't understand buoyancy, I guess. I don't know.
And then eventually they'd sink.
Yeah, so the person dies either way.
Yeah, the logic is a bit flawed.
One I saw was they would look for markings, because you made like a deal with the devil, and the devil would want to like brand you. They look for like marking on the body to see if the person had like a third nipple or something like weird. It's like some of the stuff is like, what? Oh,
they're like, oh, they left-handed.
Oh, yeah. So another thing thrown out there was he was very wealthy as a farmer. So maybe someone was jealous.
Oh.
And they kind of used these horrible deaths that were happening in the town, these murders, as a way to frame him and throw him in jail, get killed or be executed.
Yeah, I mean, he wants his land.
Yeah, maybe they didn't actually do any of this stuff.
And he wiped out his entire family to get it, like tortured.
Yeah.
He got his entire torture.
Right.
You think he was like standing in the background like, oh crap, like, sorry.
Another was that he was having an affair with a woman, so adultery. But maybe again,
the husband.
They might have like been like, hey, we're using this as a way to get rid of this guy. I don't know.
The husband's like probably angry.
Yeah. or the skull had been done because like people, they knew he was having an affair. They didn't like that he's wealthy. They thought it might be kind of weird that his son randomly disappeared because there's no proof that his son actually died. He's just like, yeah, I killed him.
He moved away.
Yeah. And that they just kind of threw this stuff at him to like get rid of him. Down people in the town, maybe.
They needed an answer. They were just looking for an answer.
Sure. The last thing, this gets brought up quite a bit when I saw this, is the whole Protestant Catholic tension thing going on, because apparently in this town and in Germany and the rest of Europe, there's tension building up. There was battles, actually wars broke out because of this whole Protestant Catholic dispute and power struggle. During this time, Peter came out and said he publicly was a Protestant, and most people in this town were Catholic. Most people in Germany were still Catholic. So they might have, those people in power who were Catholic, might have kind of used them as a scapegoat. Like, hey, this is what happens when you're a Protestant. Either these people.
They tortured the crap out of him because he was a Protestant? It's not very Catholic of you. I mean, I only went to a Catholic school for 8 years, so maybe I didn't hear that part of the story, where it was okay to murder them if they weren't Catholic.
Yeah.
I know that's part of the history of Catholicism in some ways.
So again, this could also be like going back to like they fabricated these crimes in order to make him a scapegoat and be like, hey, this is what happens when you're a Protestant in this area, or because he's a Protestant, he works with the devil and does bad things. So we're going to set an example, make a scapegoat out of him.
I never read the Bible. Was that in there? Okay.
Like religious extremism, I guess you could call it.
That's a rough one. Still can't get over the flaying thing.
Yeah.
Yucky.
So yeah, either he was a werewolf, just some of the mental disorder, or he's just unwanted. People didn't like him, want to get rid of him.
Couldn't just be like, hey man, can you move?
Or he was used as like a scapegoat in this like religious political tension that was going on at the time.
That's this is all gross.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
Hey, happy Halloween.
So was that the end of your theories?
That's it.
So what do you think was going on?
I don't think, look at this other way, I don't think he was a werewolf or anything like that. I think possible he was not really wanted, maybe, and maybe he did kind of maybe do these things, and they're like, we'll just say he's a werewolf, get rid of him, to kill him.
Does it explain the brutality of the killings?
Yeah. Like, because they didn't understand, like, can a human do this without actually being possessed or influenced by the devil or some supernatural force?
Yeah,
like,
we'll
throw the werewolf thing in there to like make it so everyone can understand that, be like ease about it, because like we know we know why he did it now, because they couldn't understand like a human being doing that without having some kind of otherworldly demonic influence, maybe. But I don't know whether or not he actually did that stuff. I don't know, man. Because like you said, it's only one guy who kind of told the story.
Yeah, we don't even know if any of these people existed.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Was he just the name that he just happened to use for his story? Like, yeah, he may have existed because the guy that wrote the pamphlet put his name down. He's like, oh, my neighbor, I like that name. We called him Stumpp because he had his arm cut off. which
is cruel, man.
And Peter Stumpp was sitting there like, hey, come on, man. I'm right here.
Last name's Griswold. What? Come on.
So I don't know.
It's because there's only one only one source. It's like you kind of have to like,
and it was so long ago,
right?
That sucks.
And the fact is, like his kid too. Like, geez,
yes,
thrown into that.
We've heard about the brutality of living in the 1500s, 1300s, 1600s. Like,
it was terrible.
It was terrible most of human history. In fact, it's always sucked to be human, except it really sucked like 100 years ago and further.
Yeah.
And so
I'm sure people, in the future look back at our time like, man, it would have sucked to live back then.
Yeah. But so that's just human nature, but like, come on. So we don't really know what I think there could have been a serial killer. Like, there could have been a killer who was killing these people. Maybe they didn't destroy them like he was explaining them to be. Maybe that was kind of, the guy kind of wrote that as like a narrative to get the werewolf's narrative out there.
It could have been sensationalized too. Like some of the stuff might have happened, but like it might have been highly exaggerated or greatly exaggerated.
Kind of like a slasher, like the slasher, like where they exaggerate how he killed things to make it people want to read it.
Yeah.
So he could sell more if he was trying to sell it. I don't know.
They're like, hey, this look what this Protestant did.
Yeah, it could have been a whole, it could have been nothing. It could have been just fake news, misinformation for.
Right. And apparently at his execution, I don't know, you can look at this either way. At his execution, some pretty high profile people within the church and the government came to it. So whether or not they came because of like, they heard about it and they're like, this guy's nuts. Let's go check this guy get killed. Or some people were like, maybe those people had a hand in his demise. Like,
because it was Protestant.
Maybe.
This is what we do to Protestants here in this hood. Yeah. I think looking at the story, obviously it's too long ago to kind of come to some conclusion that makes sense for us, but also we're not around back then, so that's part of the problem. It could have been a cautionary tale.
It's definitely possible.
Of like, you better not be a Protestant.
Or you better not be missing an arm, or you're going to be accused of a werewolf. Yeah,
I think because there's only one source, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
We can't go back and look at newspaper clippings from back then.
Yeah.
Because maybe there was a lot of slaying. Like maybe there was a lot of murders. And again, there probably was a lot of murders people never knew about.
Sure.
Because like someone goes missing, they're like, oh yeah, he could have been murdered. He could have just fell in a river and floated away. He could have been, he could have been crushed by a rock. Like even people go missing today, we can't find them.
Right.
So maybe there could have been. There's probably tons of murders. We talked about this before. Like, back in even the 1800s, people would be like, oh, walk down a street and be like, where's that? There's people there. And the neighbor's like, oh, I don't know. Oh, they moved.
Yeah.
They moved somewhere else, a couple hundred miles away.
Yeah.
Find them there, and then he murdered them and stole their land. There's no way to tell. He could have buried them. There was no forensics or anything.
No video surveillance or.
The sheriff rolled by and was like, "What happened?" He's like, "Oh, I saw them get murdered."
They're just gone. I woke up, they were gone.
Yeah, they moved. Everything's gone. And he's like, "Oh, why is there 3 big humps of dirt right there?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I put a horse down."
Put a horse down.
Things sucked. The Hinterkaifeck murders we talked about.
Yeah.
That was in Germany, I think.
Yeah. When was that? 1800s?
I want to say 1800s. I can't remember for sure. But that was another instance of like someone rolled up and murdered those people. No one has no clue. Science, we talked about it. Like science pointed it probably was a neighbor, but he got away with it.
Right.
No problems.
Yeah. Can't prove it.
Yeah. So, Jordan.
Chris.
I want to say that was a good spooky tale.
Oh, thanks.
Just the images of flaying is in my brain.
Yeah.
And the torture systems. Thank you for being here and
thanks.
Taking me down this road to lichenism. Lycanthropy?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Lycanthropy?
There's also like a plant named a lichen.
Is there?
Yeah, like underbrush type of plant.
I wonder if there's any relation.
Well, maybe they ate that and they turned into the...
Maybe. Because apparently there's like plants and stuff that can...
Well, yeah, it makes them go crazy. Yeah. I don't know.
Did you know most of those witches during Salem witch trials, like they weren't burned at a stake, they were hung? Like how that whole like burn them at the stake thing, where'd that come from?
What kind of thing is if they don't burn, then they're witches? If they do burn, then they're humans?
Apparently one guy got crushed by rocks, which sounds terrible. It was a way of execution.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, why?
Wasn't there only like 6 people that died in the witch trials? Though?
Yeah, it was only like a dozen, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just weird how that's kind of got blown up.
Lichens are the second breed. Oh wait, that is the Underworld Wiki. Okay, that's not what I want. Oh, lichen, it's spelled differently. It's oh. Lichen, L-I-C-H-E-N, is a hybrid colony of algae or cyanobacteria living symbiotically among filaments of multiple fungi species, along with a yeast embedded in the cortex of the skin of the mutualistic.
Don't know what that means, man.
Relationship.
Other than symbiotic.
Okay, so it's just a type of fungi.
Fungi?
funny fungies coming soon.
That's our next podcast. Funny fungies. Just list off fun guys.
These are some funny fungies.
Look at this one.
Look at this fungi.
How about this one?
You just make a TikToks. All right.
All right.
Thank you for viewing this episode or listening to it, however you got it. You can find us on YouTube. If you are listening, if you're watching on YouTube, you can find us on any podcast platform, however you like to get us in your brain.
Oh, yeah. Comment what your favorite monster is. Halloween monster. How about that? Put that in the old comments.
Yeah. Comment us some information about monsters you like or don't like. I think that Halloween nowadays has gotten so broad that probably a bunch of monsters we didn't even know about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you again, everybody out there. If you want to send us an email or get in contact with us, you can find those contacts either in the show notes below to all of our social media. You can also send us an email at mysteriousPalsOnline@gmail.com. But again, all that information is at mysteriousPals.com if you'd like to just jump there. And next week, we'll be back with some kind of, it's Halloween, will be our next episode.
The last one, yeah.
Yeah, for the month, for our spooky stuff. But until then, Jordan, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody out there again. We will be back next time. Same mysterious time, same mysterious place, same mysterious pals. We love you and good night.
Stay spooky.